I packaged things back up.
There we go. So we got we've got 3 lists contention for first place right now. Maxwell's Imperial list and his Bomber Rebel list. Robin's Imperial list is also second place. So it's all a tie right now. It's anyone's game, like, literally anyone's game.
If ideally, folks, if you could make it so that Max has a list and I have a list,
that'd be great.
That would be the optimal outcome here.
Well, actually, that's part of the rules. We'll pick one of each at the top 2 from a different person.
Reasonable. If it stays tied like this, I'd suggest not the Imperials against each other.
Oh, I don't know. A first order training exercise.
True, but we are using literally the same 3 ships, just with different stuff.
So that's funny. But that itself makes it interesting.
Which one? Yeah, it would be
it's
a
true,
question
it's
of which
true.
one is better at this point.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
not
like,
necessarily better. It's just here are 2 different ways you can do both of these ships.
Yeah.
Okay. Last of all, we've got the ship I have been desperately waiting for.
Okay, hold on a second. To vote, sorry for that, people. If you want to vote, you can go to the following link.
Of course, we need to.
I'm about to post in the group, in the chat there. If you go to that link, you can vote for your 2 lists.
Vote for 2.
I encourage that, and it will be down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I made the comment yesterday about that. In my mind, that is a borderline in terms of proportions of the ship.
Shall we actually address the controversial proportions of the ship issue?
It's
So, if you're wondering why this comes in a box and not in a blister, it's because it is physically larger than will fit in a blister pack.
But Robin, surely they could use the larger blister
Like this
pack.
one.
Put the thing in.
I mean, no, actually, not with enough packaging around it to not just be
Broken by the
squeezed
time
in
you
there.
get
Yeah, it would be squeezed by the packaging.
Also, I think part of the reason it's coming in a box is because they want to package a large ship amount of stuff with it, and on a another, not a cynical level, on a marketing level, what they want is the 2 nice ships that say this belongs to the Last Jedi, like tie-in properties. Here's your starter box, and here are 2 nice boxes that can sit on the shelf of your Walmarts, your Targets, your Toys R Us, because these ones that require going on a hanger are not well designed for certain types of retail space. Boxes go into retail space much better than blister packs do, and I think that may factor into some of the thinking as well.
I agree. Would you want me to show off?
You mean say I have to stop touching this, Elliot?
You'll get it back. It's yours.
You'll get it back. It's yours. Okay.
I'm more thinking about the actual proportions of it. It's like
squish.
No, it's quite. It's getting borderline close to being a large ship on a small base.
Oh, well, it's about the same size as an IG.
Yeah,
exactly. That's my
it's
point.
Very comparable, and I think what they've done there is they've made a very deliberate choice.
Or U-wing.
The IG was put on a large base to make it fly and handle in a specific way.
Yeah.
The silencer has been put on a small base to make it fly and handle in a specific way.
Very much. Very much so, yes.
But couldn't you have equally made it smaller so it was more of along the intercept proportions?
Well, the thing is, they are trying to, as close as they possibly can,
stick to the actual sizes.
1 to
270 scale.
Yes, and when using that scale, that's how big that thing comes out at. That's just what it is.
That is okay. That'd be really menacing seeing one of those up close in real life eye.
From what we've seen as well, the TIE silencer that we've seen in the trailer is huge. Like, it is a massive, bulky beast of a ship.
Yeah,
and I think that is nicely represented by the size of the model on the table. Obviously, that does come with a cost implication. It's a big ship upgrade pack, which means that rather than it costing blister pack costs, it costs like small large ship prices.
Yeah, along the lines of a U-wing kind of style.
Yeah.
But the only difference you're getting between the 2 is how much plastic you're getting on the physical base.
Yeah. Which
you are getting all of the stuff that you would get in a large ship. You're getting your rules leaflet. You're getting your big selection of cards.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying. The only thing that changes is the base size.
Yeah, which is it's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine. Whatever.
I for one am not hugely bothered about the base size.
Well, the thing about lethality, if you ask 2 different sources, the Hawk has 2 different sizes. In fact, they reconcile that in the RPG by actually having the Hawk 290 and the Hawk 1000, which the Hawk 1000 is basically larger than the Hawk 290. That's because back in the day of Legends, no one could agree on how big or small the Hawk should be. So that's why the correct size, you could argue the Hawk is incorrectly and correctly sized.
So, nice little rules insert. Has on the back the TIE Silencer's ridiculous dial. This is it's incredible. It is without doubt the best dial in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I will also point out Elliot made a very good point about the mission side of things. Unlike the Resistance bomber, which
there would be space,
packed text, they could very easily have fitted a mission on that page there by just chopping out some of the artwork.
That said, it's very nice artwork.
It is really nice artwork, though. So I'm not complaining about the artwork. I am complaining about the lack of a mission.
No, fair.
But I'm aware the mission side of things I may no longer be a priority for FFG. I am quietly hoping that this means that in the background somewhere they are working on some kind of Corellian conflict style campaign pack or something of that nature.
That would be very nice.
Which would be
I would not be opposed.
The optimal outcome for all of this. So I'm just going to pass the rules insert across to Elliot so he can show you the glory that is the TIE Silencer dial.
How many greens are on that dial?
Many.
More than any other ship in the game.
So
this is a ship that's been eating its greens.
I'm actually going to talk you through this dial, folks. It's not something I normally bother to do, but with this ship, I think it's such an important part of the ship's identity. You've got white 1 turns.
Yeah.
You've got every speed 2 manoeuvre in green.
Yeah.
So that's your 2 turns, your 2 banks, and your 2 forwards.
Yeah.
At speed 3, you've got a 3 forward and 3 banks in green, and then a white 3 turn, and then red 3 talon rolls.
Yeah.
Then you've got a green 4 forward, and a 4 speed talon K turn. Then you've got a green 5 forwards. So this has got that 2 to 5 all in green of the A-wing, and then it's got some really solid other green manoeuvres on there.
It is the best dial in the game, which was the A-wing dial. This is the A-wing dial on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you think about it is actually, if you take the A-wing dial, it's got the twin ion engines built in.
Yeah.
Because it turns those banks to green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a very strong dial.
I think it's worth emphasising how important those green 3 banks are. They allow the ship to go very fast outside of a straight line, so this means it can quite easily keep pace with large base ships if it needs to, and shed stress in the process. Those are a big deal. This dial is bananas.
It is.
In a good way, and according to some rumours I've heard about the original playtest version of this dial is less green than the version that was originally playtested.
Really?
Apparently, this is pure rumour and speculation, but the rumour I'd heard is that the 1 turns and the 3 turns were green as well on the initial
So everything
version.
apart from
No whites.
No whites.
Anything apart from a turnaround manoeuvre, i.e. Talon or K-turns, would have been green. That would be ridiculous.
That would be a bit too much, I think. If they were
to do that,
they were right to shrink that down.
If they were to do that, the points cost of the ship would have to go that way and some.
Yeah.
Yeah, another 5, 6, 7 points, I would have said.
On the topic of points costs, we've got our 4 pilots.
Yep.
The basic stat line for all of these will, of course, be the same. The TIE Silencer has 3 attack, 3 agility, 4 hull and 2 shields. So that's strong attack, strong defence, and a reasonably beefy amount of hit points into the mix. It's slightly inferior to the TIE Defender's mix because it's 2 shields rather than 3. So you've got a bit more hull in the mixture, so a bit more chance for crits going through. But I don't think we're going to complain in any way, shape or form about that.
No, I don't think we are.
We've got the focus, target lock, barrel roll and boost actions on the action bar, and on the upgrade bar we've got the system and tech slots. And then at pilot skill 4 we've got the Sinar Jamius Analyst pilot, who's 26 points. So 26 points for all of that. Is a bit of a bargain.
A little bit. That is incredibly cheap for what you're getting.
I reckon someone thought, you know what, having 4 of those is probably a bit too much.
Exactly. Yes. That is something I was literally about to say, Elliot, so you took the words out of my mouth.
However, 3 you can do.
It's worth noting. Let's compare this with the TIE Defender. Let's ignore the TIE Defender's titles for a brief moment.
Sure.
The Delta Defender.
Yeah.
Pilot skill 1, 30 points.
Yeah.
for a very similar stat line.
Yeah.
Sure, you
Same-
can make an
same for
argument
hit
that the white
points.
K-turn. The white K-turn is a
K-turn
really
is a
nice thing
thing.
to have.
But
there's
the greens,
the one
though,
hard,
the
the one and
greens.
2 hards on the defender dial.
other than that, I mean, the defender's greens are garbage. It's just the forwards.
Yeah.
It's the straights. Compared to this, it's completely different ballpark.
You put the X7 title on there,
Yeah.
and that points cost goes down, but you're still talking about 28 points. So this is 2 points cheaper,
3 higher pilot skill,
3 higher pilot skill,
a much better dial,
a much better dial.
and has 4 actions, not 3 on the...
It gets boost,
it gets
which
boost.
specifically means for the same 28 points as an X7 Delta Squadron pilot, you get one of these with auto thrusters.
Yeah.
So the evade token that the X7 title gets you is nice, but the auto thrusters are also really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd say those two ships are really very comparable, and the pilot skill 4 is meaningful. Like that puts you ahead of quite a lot of generic ships. So,
Well, just look at it there. The first name pilot of the TIE Silencer is 1 point above the generic Defender.
yeah. So that's our Sinar Jameis analyst. Next up, we've got our first order test pilot. Same stat line, but the upgrade bar gains an EPT slot. We move up to pilot skill 6 and 29 points. So that's a 3-point increase, but I think that is
worth it. It's it gets the EPT, and pilot skill 6 generic with an EPT. That's
Yeah,
one
you
thing.
could...
there's glaives, and that's about it. I think
that
fall
is
into
that is it. That's the only one as far as I can think of.
So you can veteran instincts that up to 8 if you want to, or you can take push the limit on this and use that ridiculously green dial to its full effect.
I'm also thinking you could have 3 of these with... how many points is it again? Do the maths. 29?
29. Yeah.
So you could have 3 of them with auto thrusters, fire control, and adaptability. To have pilot skill 7s.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. I wouldn't mind actually giving that a go, actually.
I think they're good. I personally have a sneaking suspicion that when I'm going to be using the generics, if I'm going to be flying multiple generics, I'm going to go for the pilot skill 4s, because then I can kit them out a little more heavily.
Yeah.
But the EPT slot is really,
so
really good. So, good stuff there. Then we come on to our first named pilot. Moving up to pilot skill 7, keeping the EPT slot, we come to test pilot Blackout. And test pilot Blackout's pilot ability. When attacking, if the attack is obstructed, the defender rolls 2 fewer defense dice to a minimum of 0. So you get yourself into a nice position, you line up that obstructed shot, and rather than effectively gaining a dice for the obstruction, they lose a dice for the obstruction. Because they still gain the dice, but then they take 2 off.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's worth noting about this is that you can treat a range 3 obstructed shot as though it were a range 2 unobstructed shot.
Yes.
My issue with that, actually, Robin, doesn't you take the effects off? So when you take dice away, doesn't that happen before?
It's well, I mean,
Because if you had a ghost, for example, that's behind an obstacle, it has no agility.
Yeah. So it would gain an agility from the asteroid.
No, I thought it happened before you got your range and your obstructed bonus.
No, this does not. This happens after all of this has been applied.
They roll fewer defense dice. It's not lowering their agility, it's reducing the number of dice.
Okay,
So there's an important distinction.
The ghost at range 3, with its obstruction, gains 2 dice,
and loses them
and
immediately.
then Blackout takes them away.
Yeah.
Oh.
Blackout.
No. This is glorious.
For the First Order,
yes.
not for the Republic or Rebellion.
The vanity blackout, trick shot, auto thrusters, advanced sensors will be painful.
Yeah, because with trick shot, that means that you're rolling 4 dice on those obstructed
5 at range
shots.
1.
Yeah, assuming.
Yeah. If you can pull off a range 1 obstructed shot, then yeah.
Teeny tiny asteroid.
But like that's very punchy. Blackout's ability.
I'm going to need to.
Sure.
Just for a second.
Max.
For a second.
Ooh.
Sorry, folks. Just wait with his names.
He's been summoned. Carry on.
So Blackout's ability, really strong, really good, I think. It is a little bit situational. It does rely on you getting the obstruction to work out for you. So I think what we're going to see is Blackout being played a lot with kind of like people throwing 3 large debris fields down on the table.
Well, I'm also thinking, for him as a setup, or her, generic, kind of naming there. Yes, trick shot's going to be probably bolted on there. Equally, yet again, you could do push the limit. I think the sensor slot would be a sort of bolt-on advanced sensors, so you can, as you're going along, barrel roll behind the asteroid and sit there. Next turn, I'm going to barrel back out, then I'm going to move along again.
Yeah.
Which that's huge. If I barrel roll behind it, and I'm not blocked in the same position I came from, or even going the other way, if you've got room to go the other way and then nip round the angles.
It's going to require some precision flying, but I am confident that we are going to see Blackout getting quite a lot of use because it's only 31 points as well. So like we're only talking a 2-point bump up from the generic that we were talking about beforehand.
Big pilot ability and an extra 1 for the boost or pilot skill between the highest generic and this.
Also, I'm going to make a prediction. If we start seeing a lot of Blackout being flown, Dash Rendar may drop out of the competitive meta from where he currently is.
Can I be honest though? Like here, we don't see very much of it. For us, not seeing Dash making much of an appearance is not a huge thing.
I mean, we've got two strong Dash players. We've got both Michael and Darren who play quite a lot of Dash. So at least in terms of my experience of like the local Athena meta, there's quite a lot of Dash there. And certainly once you go out of Athena into the larger kind of like competitive meta, Dash Miranda has been one of the dominant lists of the last 6 months. I'm also thinking
it could be an issue for Ray. If Ray has Finn on board, it gains the potential blank for Finn. Ray has 1 base, has 2 effectively with Finn, has 3 because of the obstacle, and then he's going to be back down to 1 again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Blackout.
Yes.
Thumbs up. I am on board. And then last of all, we come to the iconic pilot for the TIE Silencer. The one we've seen in all of the trailers for The Last Jedi, Kylo Ren. And you may note that Kylo Ren has had a bit of an improvement in his flying skills since he got out of the Upsilon shuttle and has started getting behind the controls of a less lumbering ship.
Well, can I also make a
massive
note?
Jump from 6 to 9.
Can I also note, if you go through Kylo Ren's family tree, Kylo Ren is at 9. His father was at 9, and his grandfather was at 9.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's safe to say that good piloting skills run in that family.
Both sides.
Both sides of that family.
Apart from Luke, who's at 8, but we'll move past that part.
That's good. 8 is still good.
Yeah, for a farm boy, that's not bad.
Yeah. Well, considering there's literally 1 pilot skill higher that you can get naturally.
Yeah. Kylo Ren clocks in at pilot skill 9, has the same pilot ability as the Epsilon shuttle, so the first time you are hit by an attack each round, assign the I'll show you the dark side condition to the attacker, and bumps up to 35 points. That's 4 points more than Blackout for 2 points of pilot skill, and what I would argue is as possibly a weaker pilot ability.
However, that dial at pilot skill 9...
That's the reason.
Is the whole thing.
Also, can I point out that it's actually only 1 point more than the Upsilon Kylo Ren?
Yeah.
34, 35.
You're basically paying for 6 extra hit points,
and that
2 less agility, 1 extra red dice.
And the upgrade bar.
And that dial.
But yeah.
And the pilot skill.
That dial is amazing. Yeah.
Kylo Ren is going to, I think, be the definitive TIE Silencer pilot.
He is.
The high pilot skill is really key to making the ship sing.
Yeah.
But I really like the fact that FFG have recognised the fact that pilot skill 9 on some platforms is more valuable than pilot skill 9 on some other platforms.
This is very much true, yeah.
And the costing on all of these ships is where it should be. I've complained quite a lot in some of the blogging I've done over the last few waves about how some of the generics have been quite overcosted from where they should be. That is not the case with the TIE Silencer.
Yeah.
The TIE Silencer Pilot Skill 4 generic is aggressively cheap.
Yeah.
Which means we'll actually see it.
Yes.
But it's not at 25 points.
Well, no, it's
Yeah,
not.
imagine that dial at 25 points.
It's not priced to allow you to just put 4 of them on the board, which is the right move.
Yeah.
And but it's also not priced so that you won't see any of them.
Yeah.
You can kit out 3, and that's perfect. Nice. And yes, in comparison to the previous ship of this style that the Imperials had, their elite pilot.
If you think about it, you get double the hit points and shields to play with for 8 points.
Yes, and a better dial and a better upgrade bar.
But it is worth noting that Sun TFL, fully kitted out, comes at the same price cost as Kylo Ren with no upgrades.
Yeah.
So, I think there's going to be a few there's going to be 2 what I'm going to suggest being typical builds for Kylo Ren. There's going to be push the limit and advanced sensors, plus auto thrusters, plus the other stuff that you decide to throw on there. You probably want to put the title in there because the title's really good.
The title's really good. Pattern analyzer, maybe. Some things.
Yeah.
Some good options.
And that will give you a hypermobile ship that can potentially double reposition before it executes its manoeuvre. And as long as it's doing a green manoeuvre, having pushed the limit, it ends up being unstressed and can just throw itself around the board and do ridiculous shenanigans.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be great.
Yeah.
I also think there's going to be a place for Veteran Instincts Kylo Ren.
Pilot skill 11 is huge.
Pushing yourself up to pilot skill 11. Being at pilot skill 11, you're then going to be only having a single action.
Yeah.
But you get around that by taking Fire Control System to give yourself some offensive mods.
Yeah.
And you're going to take the Threat Tracker tech slot that we'll come to later to give yourself a little bit more
defensive capability.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got like a pilot skill 10 Alpha Strike. Looking at you here, Robin, when I say pilot skill 10 Alpha Strike, having pilot skill 11 Kylo, putting that condition on there, then having that Harpoon Alpha Strike.
Yeah, that's potent.
So I think
It's worth noting
this is a really nice bit of design. I think this is going to become an iconic ship for the Imperial fleet.
And it is worth noting that a fully kitted out Kylo Ren is coming up to around the 45 to 47 points range.
So this is an Imperial Corran Horn.
So you're getting an amazing ship, but you are paying for it.
I do think it is worth us making the comparison with the E-Wing at this point. The TIE Silencer massively outclasses the E-Wing on every front.
Yes, while
better dial out box, more health, more agility,
the
same agility.
auto thrusters,
same agility.
I thought it was 2.
3.
No.
3.
But it can't get auto thrusters because it doesn't have a native boost.
And
same points.
Same points cost, and Kylo Ren is just better.
So Corran's pilot ability is stronger than Kylo's.
It is.
Like, sort of, Corran has one of the best pilot abilities in the game.
No, he absolutely does. The double tap is incredible.
But Kylo gets an extra point of pilot skill. And that extra point of pilot skill may mean that Corran never has Kylo in arc at any point during the game.
Yeah.
And at that point, the double tap kind of becomes a bit meaningless.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting Corran by any stretch of the imagination, by the way, when I'm saying this. No. Corran has been demonstrated to still be in a place where he can compete at the highest competitive levels.
You're more highlighting the fact that the E-Wing needs something.
The E-Wing needs something. It needs...
It's at its most telling when you look at the Nave Squadron pilot versus the Simar Janus analyst. The Nave Squadron pilot is a point more for much less.
Yeah.
So it's 26 points for the Silencer Pilot Skill 4 generic, and it's 27 points for the Nave Squadron generic. Now look at those stat lines. Then take into account the fact that you get 3 extra points of pilot skill on the
and
Silencer
more hit
generic.
points.
And you get more hit points.
And auto thrusters.
And you get access to auto thrusters potentially.
Yeah.
And you've got 2 quite comparable upgrade bars, I think. But like
reasonably.
I think is a real demonstration of how badly every non-Corran E-Wing is something.
Yeah, vitally.
And I'm not saying in any way that the TIE Silencer is overpowered. I think it is pitched very nicely to the current power curve of X-Wing, and I don't think it's falling above it. I think it's falling on it in a way that means that every ship that we see here will get play.
Yeah. I mean, even I think Kylo Ren is obviously going to be the big thing, but even dropping down to
Blackout is going to be stunningly aggressive as a pilot.
Very, very much so. I mean, he's that ability is just so nice.
So, we've also got some new upgrades, but there are some existing upgrades as well. You get a copy of Sensor Jammer.
I love Sensor Jammer.
Sensor Jammer's not a card that's in a huge number of packs either, so it's nice to see it somewhere else.
U-Wing and the Lander?
I believe so, yeah. There's 2 copies of Advanced Optics, so that's a nice thing to have as well. And Advanced Optics does work quite nicely on the Silencer, I feel, as well.
Yeah.
It gives you a little bit more action efficiency by virtue of you being able to bank an action for future turns.
And also it's nice as well, because Advanced Optics, didn't it also appear in the Bomber?
Yes.
So it doesn't matter which one of the 2 you buy here. If you're a Rebel player, Bomber. If you're an Imperial player, Silencer, you have access to it either way.
If you buy both, you'll get 4.
Yeah.
And there are 2 copies of Auto Thrusters and 2 copies of Prime Thrusters. And these are both cards that only appear in 1 expansion apiece.
Yeah.
The Auto Thrusters only appear in the Star Viper, and the Prime Thrusters only appear in the Heroes of the Resistance pack.
They are both vital.
They are both such good upgrades that have both desperately needed a wider release, and Imperial players in particular will be thrilled to see Auto Thrusters that do not require them to buy a Star Viper.
Yeah.
And Prime Thrusters that don't require them to buy Heroes of Resistance.
Absolutely. And as a player who plays all the factions the way I do, I'm just pleased to have some more copies of Prime Thrusters and Auto Thrusters.
Yes.
They're things that I will very happily always need more
Have more of them. Yeah.
So this meets with a wholehearted seal of approval on my part. This is a really well and wisely selected set of additional upgrades.
Yeah.
Then we've got some new stuff. And I think the first one to look at is the First Order Vanguard title. Because this is the kind of unique title to the TIE Silencer. And it's worth noting it is unique. This only appears... it's got the dot, so you can only take it the one time. TIE Silencer only. When attacking, if the defender is the only ship in your firing arc at range 1 to 3, you may re-roll 1 attack dice. When defending, you may discard this card to re-roll all of your defense dice for 2 points. So it's
multi-purpose.
It's multi-purpose. It's a trimmed down version of Predator that requires you to be a bit more careful about how you use it. And it's worth noting it says the only ship, so that's friendly and enemy ships.
Yes.
You can only have 1 ship in your firing arc for this to trigger.
Yep. He has to be at the front. He is, after all, the Vanguard. He needs to be at the front.
Yes. But I think it's going to be, given the dial, given how precisely you can potentially fly the ship, I think that's not going to be too much of an issue.
Yeah.
It frees your elite pilot talent slot up for doing other things that aren't modifying your dice. And on something that's a 3 agility ship, the ability to reroll is really important.
Yeah. So if you do get that blank out evade roll that will just kill your ship, you can just go, I'm going to try that again.
Yeah.
And potentially save yourself.
Which, if you've got auto thrusters,
you
probably won't need all. If you can say, okay, I've got 2 blanks and I can get a conversion for auto thrusters, but I've got 1 conversion for auto thrusters, but I need all 3. So
I suppose that's the counter argument, though.
It does specifically state all, however, so it is all.
Yeah, but if you roll blanks, you'll
if
get...
you roll blanks, it's like you can't select.
Yeah,
basically.
I know. So you reroll all of them, and okay, I get 2 evades and a blank, convert to auto thrusters.
Yeah, but that's also the thing as well. If you were to be that situation where you had no focus tokens, and you re-roll and you go, well, I've now got focuses, so you have, say, an evade and 2 blanks, and you've got no focus conversion, and you roll into that and you get 3 focuses, you're like, I've now lost 2 evades here.
Yeah, but that's
Dice
the
are the
risk you
dice.
take.
Yeah, I understand that, but equally it's...
Would you rather die? Yeah, that's the way. If you're going to die, then
you go for the reroll.
That's the real thing. It takes a little bit of the variance out of flying a high agility ship. And combined with auto thrusters, that lets you control the rate at which you take damage.
Yeah.
So one thing I think is worth noting, Kylo is going to be a really strong pilot. It's something that's going to see a lot of flight time. I really like it. But unlike the other places that you see those kind of 42 to 47 point pilots, which are Poe and Corran, there's no regen there. So every point of damage you take on Kylo sticks.
Yeah.
There is no, I'm going to run away for a couple of turns and green manoeuvre and roll 2d2 my shields back and then come back in at full health again. You take a point of damage on Kylo and it's there for good.
Yeah.
And also thinking what we were talking earlier about proton bombs. If they're dealing direct hits,
well, if they're if they're putting
and it's not being hit by an attack either.
If they're putting face-up damage cards into him, then he's going to start to see some issues.
Yeah,
Kylo will die to Kylo.
Yes.
Yeah, he will. But this feels oddly appropriate, I've got to say.
This is one of the interesting things as well, where we might see some kind of like meta counterplay happening as people counterplay Kylo with other Kylo builds. Because if you can get pilot skill 11 Kylos, they might only have the one repositional action, but they're moving after and shooting before the pilot skill 9 Kylos, so there might be some shenanigans.
All I can say is
or the shuttle, because you have 4 dice, 5 at range 1.
All I can say is that seeing Kylo across the board fills me with determination.
Oh, you went there. Good boy.
I think there may also be a small spike in the use of determination. Yes, I think that is a fair statement.
It's going to be... Determination is going to go into the bank of, if I have a point and an EPT slot I'm not doing for anything else, this is a useful option.
Yeah, especially since it makes a ship which you can then fire at Kylo and say, meh, okay, you've assigned, I'll show you the dark side. At least you're not shining it to my friends.
Yeah.
And also, determination you have to discard.
Yeah, you don't take the damage at all.
Not necessarily that, I'm thinking of...
Levo?
No, the bomber, Tomax. Determination, you just go...
Oh, you don't discard determination.
You don't discard determination. You discard the damage card.
Yeah.
Sorry, my apologies. I thought you discarded the EPT. My bad.
You discard the damage, which means you don't take the damage at all.
Yeah, and then Lebo is immune.
So,
carry on.
Pressing on, we've got 2 copies of the other 2 cards that come in this pack. We've got Debris Gambit, possibly one of the stranger titled elite pilot talents in the game, but one I think that is quite fun. It's a small ship only elite pilot talent costing 2 points. As an action, you can assign 1 evade token to your ship for each obstacle at range 1 to a maximum of 2 evade tokens. So if you're happy to hang around in the debris field around some asteroids, you can effectively give the evade action to your ships.
Yeah.
I've already thought of a use for this.
And it can potentially stack 2 evades onto those ships as well.
Which is very nice.
So I think it's worthwhile. I am aware that it's 2 points and taking up your elite pilot talent slot, however. I think that is going to...
It's going to give us a limited number of things that it's actually going to see play on.
You could be bold,
but
thinking of Blackout. You could have advanced sensors, experimental no, we might got it experimental interface on advanced sensors, but you could have pan analyzer. So you put your green dial at the end. You have a sort of push going on somewhere, and then go. I've barrel rolled. I've got my debris gambit as an action with the experimental interface. And then next time I can barrel out with advanced sensors. I don't get any stress. My dial is completely free. I'm exactly where I want to be. And I've got 2 evade tokens.
Yeah.
It's a really expensive way of doing it, but...
I think Debris Gambit is a card that has come around as well because they've explicitly changed the FAQ to say you can only spend 1 evade token per attack as well. Because I think it would be more problematic at that point. So Debris Gambit, I think as well, because it's an action elite pilot talent, might also find a place on Youngster.
Yes.
Kick your TIE swarms into double evading action.
Yes.
With Youngster. And
double evade action, and they have give their a bunch of them crack shot, and then.
So my specific thought is you take Youngster.
Yeah.
You take some Black Squadron pilots with Duke.
Okay.
And then you take a pilot with Swarm Leader.
Yes.
Yeah, you spend one or have one back in reserve for Duke, and then you spend the rest of the evades to pump a big attack shot in.
I'm not 100% certain you can do it, but if you can manage to do that with Quick Draw, so that Quick Draw can Swarm Leader on her attack, and then Swarm Leader on the attack when she loses a shield as well,
that'd be devastating.
Could just result in have a 5 dice red dice shot, 5 by 5 dice shot,
or 6 at range band 1, because you'd use the title to go 2 becomes 3, becomes 4, becomes 6.
Yeah, that has some potential.
but you have no
That does-
dice mods on.
That has potential.
I think, to be honest, it is probably something that falls into the category of jank rather than actually any good.
No, it's funny.
But I think it is interesting
Yeah.
enough to try putting on the table.
Yeah.
And it flies differently to a regular TIE Swarm because
Yes.
you can break apart
Yeah,
and fly at some distance to each other.
which
So
gives
that's
it
quite
some
nice as well.
resistance to harpoons and the like.
Yeah. And then last of all, we've got a new tech upgrade called Threat Tracker. Threat Tracker is a 3-point tech slot upgrade, small ship only again, so no slapping this on anything huge. The Resistance Bomber can't suddenly miraculously equip this, for example. Not that it would be any use to it. When an enemy ship inside your firing arc at range 1 to 2 becomes the active ship during the combat phase, you may spend your target lock on that ship to perform a free boost or barrel roll action if that action is on your action bar. So, this is arc dodging at the point that your opponent's ship becomes active. This is going to be great on low pilot skill ships.
Yeah,
And it's going to be particularly good on low pilot skill ships with fire control system.
yeah,
Because you take your shot, you bank your target lock for the next turn, something gets you in arc, and then you're just like, I'm going to spend my target lock barrel roll out of your arc
yeah,
and not get
and
shot.
escape.
I think that's certainly the balancing act in this card.
Yeah.
It's not like you're getting the barrel roll for free. You are
No.
spending your target lock.
You're spending the target lock to do it, but if that gets you not shot, then well,
Yeah, again, this seems like a potential quick draw here. You kind of go, well,
maybe. Well,
yeah, you then
Maybe,
decide,
maybe.
now do I get shot here or do I move somewhere else?
and
Especially
get
if it's,
shot later.
it's that critical timing with quick draws. You know, as we know, if quick draw loses it
So
all
if
in
you've-
one go, one shot a game. But
So
it's that
if she's-
timing.
So you're
crucial.
saying if she's lost one shield this round already, then you don't want to lose more than one around.
Exactly. So
At
you
which
could use
point,
that to barrel roll.
yeah, you accept the first one. I'll lose my shield. Great. Now I'll run away.
I know that Robin has some thoughts about Threat Tracker and Quick Draw, don't you?
I think it's going to be interesting on quick draw. I think it's going to be interesting on backdraft. I think it's going to be stunning on the silencer in particular. Quick draw, I'm a little reluctant to burn quick draw's target lock off because she wants to keep having those dice mods every time she shoots. She wants to have that target lock in place so she can shoot and then re-roll her dice, shoot and then re-roll her dice. And to some extent, being in your opponent's firing arc and getting shot is in quick draw's benefit.
But expertise.
I am thinking like the idea of
Peace means she gets fully modified attacks.
So you
repositioning.
could then spend a target lock in your action step to get one back.
My thought was repositioning Quick Draw in a position where she can shoot 2 targets or the same ship twice if it's a large
Yeah.
spaceship.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. The gold standard
Yes.
of TIE-SF piloting.
Yeah.
Those times where you get to double tap.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great on the silencer in particular, though. Like, it doesn't say TIE silencer only, but I think that is going to be far and away the place we see it the most commonly.
Yeah.
Because the combination of upgrade slots. I think it's going to work very nicely on the Pilot Skill 11 Kylo build, because then it will combo with your fire control system. It means that your single action becomes less of an issue, and it means that you can still arc dodge at the points that it becomes relevant. So I think that's all going to be quite nice. I also think it's going to be potentially another nail in Dash Rendar's coffin against the TIE silencer, because you find yourself just slightly at the wrong range against Dash.
Yeah.
You've had to spend your action to do something else at some point during the equation.
Barrel roll into range 1.
And then you
Well, then
barrel
you
roll a
boost
boost into
into
range
range
1
one.
as Dash becomes active, and I'm just like, sorry, Dash. No heavy laser cannon for you.
Yeah, I can see that. And
This may mean, though, that we end up seeing some Mangler Cannon dashes out there instead.
Possibly.
I like Darren's that he
Yeah.
played the other week with Mangler Cannon and Trick Shot, so he potentially still has those 4 dice. And also, he can deal like crits now.
yeah. Lethality is also mentioned something very interesting. Cavill with Debris Field, TLT, and Unhinged.
Huh. Okay, so he's...
So what? It's an EPT on a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Y with 2 evades.
It
Yeah.
took me a moment to digest that, but yeah, no, that's quite kind of entertaining actually. A double evading Y-wing is
Silly.
bizarre.
it's a special flavour of nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. That's
So that is
this is
all-
wave.
finally all of wave 12-13.
There's a lot of
12-teen.
it. 12-teen. There's an awful lot of it.
Yeah,
And it's good.
it's good stuff.
I don't think there's a bad ship on this on this table.
Terry did ask a question earlier, and I left it for this moment,
Sure.
which is Do you think it's worth the £30 in UK price tag? Seems to be low to the box, and the model is pretty big.
I want to put it another way. That Resistance bomber is expensive as well.
Yeah, but that's
So, the TIE Silencer isn't a ship that you run out and immediately buy 3 of.
no.
Nope.
You buy one, and then you fall in love with it, and then you go and buy 2 more because you're just like, oh, I really want to experiment with these 3 triple silencer builds. I like everyone else, I suspect, I had some initial qualms about the idea of a small base ship being packaged in a £30 packet.
Having looked at it,
I have some issues around X-wing pricing that aren't to do with FFG's pricing policy. They're to do with the exchange rate between the pound and the dollar. So we've got to the point where a $30 ship is a £30 ship as well, because obviously there's the exchange rate being unfavourable. There's the fact that it's going through like a distributor outside of the US. All of those additional overhead costs. So X-wing is more expensive than it used to be, but that's largely due to outside factors, and I don't think that the TIE Silencer is unfairly packaged or unfairly priced for what it is.
It's that you get a lot in the box.
you do.
I mean, let's face it, yeah, people say, oh, it's a small base ship in a large box, but you get a large box worth of stuff in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get more things, and
As
as
you
you said earlier, the material difference is that little plastic square that it goes on is
smaller.
lilla.
Yeah, that's it.
Also, if we're talking about secondary market value prices of the cards, each of those auto thrusters, if you were to buy it outside of a card pack, costs you £5. Each of those copies of Prime Thrusters costs you £5.
Yeah.
So there's £20 worth of upgrades before you do anything else in there.
So yeah, there you go.
But then it means at this point, actually,
you're
because
fine.
there's more there now, that's going to actually start
Oh, well.
to reduce that.
Yeah. But the point is, we're trying to point out.
At day 0...
Yeah,
The point is, we're trying to point out, it's worth buying.
Yeah.
It is worth buying.
that's what I'm saying. It's worth buying. It's worth buying the first one, and then see if you want more later. Not go out and get a stack of them right now.
Yeah,
I'm aware not everyone is obsessively fond of the First Order ships as I am.
No, this is the counter difference. You'd happily buy one of those, see how it goes, but then having 2 of these isn't bad.
And that's the same. That's
a similar kind of price point.
It's the same, more or less.
But
yeah,
tell you what, folks, if you're umming and ahhing about buying your second TIE Silencer, buy 1 TIE Silencer and buy 2 of these. And build a list out of it, and I promise you it will be entertaining.
Because you could actually do that points-wise.
You guys
both
have done it.
We both did. They've both got 4 votes.
Yeah, speaking of, let's go to the... So as you can